They told me, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, a newborn king to see, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. Our finest gifts we bring, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, to lay before the king, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, rum-pa-pum-pum, rum-pa-pum-pum. So to honor him, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, when we come, little baby, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, I am a poor boy too, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, I have no gifts to bring, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, that's fit to give the king, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, rum-pa-pum-pum, rum-pa-pum-pum. Shall I play for you, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, on my drum? Mary nodded, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. The ox and lamb kept time, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. I played my drum for him, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. I played my best for him, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, rum-pa-pum-pum, rum-pa-pum-pum. Then he smiled at me, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. Being my drum, being my drum, being my drum, being my drum.
We're looking for hope and satisfaction in the wrong places, and it's always leaving us wanting more.
Jesus is not only the reason for the season, but that Jesus is the reason for everything.
Oh, come, let us adore him.
This is Living Truth.
The Gospel of John opens with, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." And later in the passage, it goes on to explain that the Word became flesh and lived among us. In this message, Brett McBride walks us through the story of the Magi to reveal that Jesus is not only the reason for the season, but that Jesus is the reason for everything. This is Living Truth.
Good morning, church. This week I was driving along and I saw a car drive by me and it said on a bumper sticker, "Jesus is the reason for the season." And certainly as you drive throughout the city, you see different lawns that might have that post and a sign that reminds us that Jesus is in fact the reason for the Christmas season, even though there's all kinds of Christmas specials on that have Rudolph, a red-nosed reindeer, or Santa, or other items attached to Christmas. Truly, his entering our world is the reason for the season. But I was sitting and thinking about that as I was going through my week and preparing for this morning. And it struck me how the different gospel writers opened their gospels. And when we read John's gospel in John chapter 1, verse 1, it opens similar to Genesis chapter 1. "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." Now think about that for a moment. That sign I saw as I was driving down the road, that bumper sticker said, "Jesus is the reason for the season." But according to John 1:1, Jesus isn't just the reason for the season. Jesus is the reason for everything. Now take that in for a moment. Jesus isn't just the reason for the season. He is the why behind everything that existed. And even the person who might be speaking against him, he gives them the very air in their lungs to speak with. That is the mystery of the incarnation. What I want to look at and talk about this morning is our searching for hope and how that stirs up Herod and taking time to stop and worship. First, I just want to debunk a few myths that we have around the Christmas story. If you see any Christmas special on TV, or if you in fact buy a nativity set, whether it's a Fisher-Price children's one or even the more elaborate ones, you will inevitably see within all the nativity sets, there is baby Jesus with Mary and Joseph. They're in a manger with animals. And we see the shepherds there worshiping because the angel announced to them that Christ had been born. And then you see these 3 wise men dressed in royal robes offering gifts to Jesus. Well, that's not exactly how the events occur. The wise men come to Jerusalem and are led to Bethlehem, but by the time they arrive in Bethlehem to worship Jesus, he is well over 1 year old, probably closer to 2 years old. And so it's not the manger scene that we see oftentimes depicted in our Christmas specials or in our nativity sets. Jesus is a child by this time, but these magi see a star and follow a star and take their pilgrimage to Judea. They travel across country. They travel hundreds of miles to come and visit the King of the Jews. And naturally, because Jerusalem was the capital of Judea, they come to Jerusalem first looking for him. Now, who exactly are these magi that have traveled a great distance to come and worship Jesus? Well, that Greek word is actually the word magos. It is the word that the Babylonians would use for someone who was a spiritual advisor, for a wise man or a sage. It was also a word used for magicians or seers or interpreters of dreams. And so these wise men, it's generally believed, come from Babylon. They have traveled across countries, hundreds of miles, to come to Jerusalem in search of the King of the Jews. Now, there was all kinds of events that took place within the stars that would have also led them to come to this conclusion. Again, within the Babylonian system, these magi are wise men. They are interpreters of dreams. We are told they are astrologers. And astrology is the study of the movements and relative positions of celestial bodies interpreted as having influence on human affairs. But these guys have been given evidence and proof to lead them on this journey. And I just want to revisit how John opens his gospel. These are astrologists. They are studying astrology. They are looking for the reason why these events are taking place. And the Logos, who breathes those very stars into existence, the Logos that they've been studying their whole lives to understand, has clothed himself with humanity and been born in Bethlehem. And God doesn't waste anything, does he? Even our moments of disobedience can be used by him to prepare other nations for the arrival of the Messiah. That's not to glorify our disobedience, but it is just to note that God uses the exile to even prepare the Gentile nations for the arrival of the Messiah. God meets them in their astrology, in their study of the stars, and when this star appears, God uses their astrology to lead the wise men to the Logos, the ultimate reason why. And this story highlights for me the compassion of God for all of humanity, that he was in fact preparing every nation under heaven for the arrival of this King of Kings. There is no one method by which God reveals himself to humanity. There is one person in whom God has revealed himself to humanity, and that's the person of Jesus Christ. But because we serve a God who is a missional God, he will meet someone where they're at, even if they have misconceptions about who he is and how he's to be worshiped. He will meet them where they're at and draw them into an ever-deepened understanding of the Logos, the reason why behind what they're searching for their whole lives. These wise men through a star that appears in the sky, are led on a journey. They travel across the nations to come and worship this King of the Jews that has been born, this King of the Jews that according to Daniel chapter 7, they have been waiting for hundreds of years, generations. And I always find it interesting that the Magi, who weren't just three wise men, even though that's often the traditional picture we get because they presented three gifts, we assume that there's only three of them. They are taking a caravan with a large amount of treasure. They would have rolled pretty deep because you don't want to get robbed on your journey. So a large caravan arrives to Jerusalem and asks, "Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star in the east." And we're told that word gets to Herod and that this foreign group has come to worship the King of the Jews. And what I always find interesting is this. Here you have a group of magi, a group of astrologers or wise men or sages, whatever you want to call them and however you want to describe them. They have taken a journey that would have been hundreds of miles, a dangerous journey through multiple countries, and arrived in Jerusalem, and they're asking to worship the King of the Jews. And those who were God's covenant people, the priests, the Sadducees, the experts in the law, the ones who had the Old Testament memorized, are caught off guard. How is it that the Messiah has been born and God's people who live only 5 miles away from where the event took place are unaware that the Messiah has been born, and this group of pagan worshipers has traversed a great distance to come and worship the King of the Jews? How exactly does that work? It's a bit of a mystery to me. Certainly, the shepherds who had the angels appear to them in the shepherds' fields came to Jerusalem with their sheep that they were raising for animal sacrifice and told people, "We saw a great sign of angels telling us that the Messiah had been born." Then did it just fall on deaf ears? Did people go, "Well, you're shepherds. We don't trust what you're saying. You probably just had a really fantastic dream after drinking too much wine, and you don't know what you're talking about"? But when this caravan shows up and asks, "Where's the one born King of the Jews?" the whole city's in a stir. And this word gets to Herod. Now, who is Herod? Well, we talked about him a couple weeks ago. He is referred to by history as Herod the Great. He was, in fact, seen as the King of the Jews. So here comes this foreign group into Jerusalem, and they're asking for the King of the Jews, and they come before Herod, and they say, "Where is the one born King of the Jews?" Now, Herod meets with these wise men and says to them, "Go make a careful search for the child, and when you have found him, come and let me know so that I too may go and worship him." Is Herod really interested in worshiping this threat to the throne? Not at all. Herod worships himself, and his desires are his God. Herod doesn't want to give worship. He wants to receive it. He wants to steal, kill, and destroy this threat to his throne and his rule. And if you study Herod's life, he seemingly always wanted more. Whether it was more buildings, more wives, more power, more control, Herod's hope was a constant searching for more materialism. But it always left him unsatisfied. And I was thinking, do you call him Herod the Great? I think a better description would be Herod the Greedy, or to bring it into our modern context, it would be Herod the Grinch. And I was looking around at our society today, just praying over this passage, and it started to strike me that these Herod-like tendencies, if we're not careful, can creep into our own lives, especially around Christmas time. I took a brave step on Friday. I went to a mall to do my Christmas shopping. I got my hockey elbow pads on. I drove into the mall area. I searched for parking and searched for parking and searched for parking. I felt like the wise men making a long journey to find a parking spot. By the time I found a parking spot, I needed binoculars to see the front door. Got out my compass, got aligned with where I wanted to go, and started to make my pilgrimage into the mall doors. When I got inside, malls at Christmas time are like modern-day warfare. You walk in, you're all bundled up because it's cold outside, and then you get into the mall, and within an hour, I'm running around the mall. I'm looking for the perfect gift for my wife. I've got my list. I'm searching, looking for the items that I need to get her. I'm a man on a mission, and there is thousands of people in my way. And I sat down at one point in the mall, and I just observed everybody running around, bags in their hands, spending all this money to get the perfect gift. And I thought back to my childhood, and I thought of my parents, and I had fond memories. I mean, once you become a parent, you start to realize what your parents did for you. And I thought of some of the gifts that I so looked forward to on Christmas Day that my parents had bought me, and the great lengths they went to get those gifts. As I was sitting in the mall thinking about that, I started to realize that I don't have one of those gifts anymore. See, that's the nature of the Herod-like tendencies. We can be searching and searching and searching, always wanting more, always acquiring the next coolest thing. And dangerously and subtly in our hearts, we're looking for it to fill our hopes and our desires. But much like a gift, it eventually wears off. The excitement that we have dissipates. And the next best thing comes out to call for our attention. And we, with all of the shopping desire we can muster up, go and purchase that thing. And it eventually leaves us feeling empty and void again. There is a gift at Christmas that you can open, and it will never leave you, and it will never forsake you. And when I was sitting in that mall looking at how the pattern of gifts in our lives always leaves us like Herod, wanting more. Hey, that's mine. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. Me, me, me. The materialism that can set in, especially around Christmas time. I was thinking about that and pondering that. And I looked at the debt loads of Canadians. And this is what I found on the internet this week. The average consumer debt, this is non-mortgage debt, of Canadians these days is over $21,000. That means the average Canadian is carrying credit card debt or car loans or something to the tune of over $21,000. Canadians now owe $1.67 for every dollar of disposable income they have. Just do the math. They owe $1.67 for every dollar of disposable income they earn. That, just so you know, is a losing game. You're drowning in debt. And our complete acceptance of debt as a normal way of life in North America is dangerous. It is not just dangerous to our financial position, but it is dangerous spiritually. Because God has promised us that He is our provider. And when we see things surrounding us that call out for our attention, and we start to borrow hordes of money to go purchase them, subtly what's taking place is that we're saying to God, hey, God, your provision isn't quite enough. I just need to get that new thing. And because you're not providing fast enough, I'll borrow it off of someone else so that I can go get it. And that is the dangerous Herod-like symptom that can creep into our lives, especially around Christmas. When you look at Herod, he wants more money, more power, more control, more wives, more. It's all about him. And I would suggest that he was looking for hope in these material things. But like gifts that we always receive, it left him empty. And Herod's search for hope was a bottomless pit. And his approach to hope was always attaining more, but it was leaving him empty. And these wise men appear, they're looking to worship the King of the Jews. Herod sends them on their way to find the child, not so that he can worship him, but so that he can eliminate him. And the wise men follow the star. It appears in the sky. They're led to Bethlehem. And they've been on this journey for quite a while. And as they're journeying, I wonder, are they in their minds envisioning what they're going to see when they come to the royal palace of this King of Kings that Daniel had prophesied about? This is a king that is described as one whose dominion knows no bounds, that will rule with an eternal kingdom. And they've just left the great halls of Herod, who was a master builder. They've left his palace and are following the star that God had planted in the sky for them, are led to Bethlehem. As they walk up to the door of this humble abode, did they knock on it? And for them to see the end of their journey that has lasted months, if not over a year, they see teenage Mary holding baby Jesus, and all the things that they had built up in their minds as to what the King of Kings would be worthy of, were they caught off guard when they see the humility with which God sends his Messiah to the earth. When you contrast King Herod's insatiable appetite for more buildings, grander designs, bigger chariots, whatever it is, and you see how God enters his creation in humility and simplicity, does it not capture your attention? Does it not make you look around and take an inventory at Christmas and go, Lord, am I living a life of simplicity, or am I on the treadmill trying to get more? When you contrast these two kings, the King of Kings, Jesus, who lives a life of simplicity, is always giving and came to give, serve, and to save, and you look at Herod, who's living a life of luxury. He's always taking, and he wants to steal, kill, and destroy. I ask you, which king are you serving this Christmas? If someone came into your life and threw open your pocketbook and looked at how you arrange your life, which king is in control? It's not that I'm against Christmas. I am looking forward to Christmas Day and sharing gifts that I went to war over in the malls. But we need to take an inventory of our lives from time to time and ask ourselves, are we worshiping Jesus? Are we worshiping the King of Kings, or are we looking for our hope in these idols? Are we looking for hope and satisfaction in the wrong places, and it's always leaving us wanting more, but it never satisfies us? The Magi come and they see Jesus in this humility and in this simple life, and it captivates them, and we are told that they bow down with their faces to the ground and worship him. These are men who are wise men who stand in the presence of kings, and they bow before Jesus and present gifts to him. That's what happens when you meet the Logos, the reason why that you've been searching for your whole life. You bow down and you worship him. And all of a sudden, the things that you treasured, maybe that thing that you were holding on to so tightly, you just want to give it up to him. Because they bow and worship and they present gifts to the King of Kings: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Gold was an offering made in Jesus' day to a king. Frankincense was what you would offer a god. And myrrh is what you would use to embalm a body for burial. At the very outset of Jesus' life come these pagans to worship him, because God had put a star in the sky and led them to the ultimate meaning of why and reason why that they had been searching for their whole lives. If you're listening today and you've been searching for the meaning why, but you've been searching for it in materialism or a gift or more power or a better education or a better job so you can get a bigger house and a better car and whatever it is, but it's a Herod-like tendency that you're hearing, drowning in a sea of debt. The message of Christmas is that God himself extends his hand to you and invites you to the freedom of knowing Christ, the freedom of understanding the reason why behind everything. See, Jesus isn't just the reason for the season. He's the reason for everything. And until you enter into that relationship, until you open that gift and receive that gift, there will always be this bottomless pit in your soul hungering for the reason why that only he can fill. God leads a group of men to experience who Jesus is on Christmas Day, and they bow and they worship and they give gifts to him. And all the things that they held as worth are now in open hands, released to him.
From the message today, we know that Herod the Great was always searching for more buildings, more wives, more power, more control. But he was never satisfied. And we can see similar tendencies in our society today, looking to fill our hopes and desires with material things. So during this Christmas season, let's remember the greatest gift ever offered, the fulfillment of our hope, Emmanuel, God with us, Jesus. Join us next time for more clear biblical teaching here on Living Truth.
Our program is recorded at the People's Church in Toronto, Canada. If you live in the GTA or plan on visiting, please join us. We'd love to meet you. To watch this message again, visit our website. Download transcripts, order DVDs and CDs, as well as our daily devotional, or sign up for our monthly newsletter. Online, you can sign up for podcasts. You can also join us on Facebook and YouTube. Join us next week for a new series and a new year. On behalf of Living Truth, the media ministry of People's Church in Toronto, we wish you and yours a blessed new year.
Oh, come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Oh, come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. Sing, choirs of angels, sing in exaltation. Sing, all ye citizens of heaven.